And in breaking news, the pioneering TV host Phil Donahue has died at the age of 88. The Phil Donahue Show, later renamed Donahue, ran from the 1960s through to 1996 and tackled major social and political issues, including women's rights, child abuse in the Catholic Church, prisons, and racism. Among his notable interview subjects was Nelson Mandela, whom he spoke with shortly after his release from a South African prison in 1990. Over his career, Donahue won 20 Emmy Awards and received the Peabody Award.
In 2003, Phil Donahue was fired from his primetime MSNBC talk show during the run-up to the U.S. invasion of Iraq. It was the most popular talk show on MSNBC at the time. The problem wasn't Phil's ratings, but rather his views. An internal MSNBC memo warned Donahue was a, quote, difficult public face for NBC in a time of war, providing a, quote, home for the liberal anti-war agenda at the same time that our competitors are waving the flag at every opportunity, unquote. In 2013, we spoke to Phil Donahue about his firing.
I think what happened to me, the biggest lesson, I think, is how corporate media shapes our opinions and our coverage. This was a decision, my decision, the decision to release me, came from far above. This was not an assistant program director who decided to separate me from MSNBC. They were terrified of the anti-war voice, and that is not an overstatement. Anti-war voices were not popular. And if you're General Electric, you certainly don't want an anti-war voice on a cable channel that you own. Donald Rumsfeld is your biggest customer. So, by the way, I had to have two conservatives on for every liberal. I could have Richard Pearl on alone, but I couldn't have Dennis Kucinich on alone. I was considered two liberals. It really is funny almost when you look back on how the management was just frozen by the anti-war voice. We were scolds. We weren't patriotic. American people disagreed with us, and we weren't good for business.
That was the groundbreaking TV host and journalist Phil Donahue. Following his firing, Phil went on to co-direct the documentary Body of War that told the story of the U.S. Iraq War veteran Thomas Young, who was paralyzed after being shot in Iraq and came home to become an anti-war activist. Phil Donahue died on Sunday at the age of 88. He's survived by his wife, Marlo Thomas, his 4 children, and his grandchildren. Our condolences to the whole Thomas Donahue family. Phil Donahue, the pioneering TV talk show host. That does it for our show. We just have less than a minute to go. Tune in to our expanded daily 2-hour broadcast from Chicago, from the Democratic National Convention, inside and out, from the streets to the suites to the convention floor. Democracy Now! Is produced by a remarkable group of people: Mike Burke, Shrufa Gokudus, Dina Guzder, Messiah Rhodes, Nermeen Sheikh, Maria Terracena, Tammy Warnoff, Trina Nadura, Sam Alcoff, Tamery Studio, John Hamilton, Ravi Karen, Hani Masood, Anna Elias, our Executive Director, Julie Crosby. Special thanks to Dennis Moynihan, and right here to CAN TV. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We're in Chicago.